What's up, everybody? It's your boy Josh Rip, and I have a special guest with me today. Who do we have here?
Josh Rip's mom.
Hey, it's my mother, everybody, and I wish y'all could see what she's wearing right now. I think she is. She probably takes the cake for the best dressed guest so far.
Well, I got my Harley hat. I got my fringe because I love fringe, and you probably can't see it, but I got my hippie pants that are kind of a little bit tie-dyed.
Yeah.
So I'm just sporting my favorite clothes here.
She's just
comfortable on my couch. Do I always dress like this sitting on my couch? Well, no.
But hey, today's a special day.
It is.
Why did you decide to jump on this podcast? I know you're very reserved and when it comes to things like this, but why did you decide to say, sure, why not?
Well, that's a long story, but to give a shorter version, part of it was because I've been going through some I've been going through some stuff that's been bothering me lately. And just even today, this morning, I was stressed all week and having a bad week and everything. And just even this morning, I felt like the Lord really laid on my heart to say, you know what, Nan, you just got to pick up, like you just have to face the stuff. You have to, don't hide anymore in your bedroom, and don't just go under the covers, and don't just just hide yourself, but trust in me. And I'm gonna show you something miraculous coming out, right?
That's right.
So I the first thing, I got some stuff with my car going on and some other things, and then somebody at church said, "Who's gonna play on the worship team?" And I said, "I'm gonna play my violin from now on." And then he asked me to do this podcast, and normally I don't really, I don't really like doing this kind of thing, but I really feel that there's going to be power in me just doing something different, and being vulnerable to y'all today.
That's true.
And
Well, first, thank you for jumping on, and I'm proud of you for stepping into something new. I've been trying to encourage my mom for a long time to try to do something new and different, and she finally said, "I'm gonna do it," and I'm surprised, but I'm also proud. So thank you for taking that step. I don't know.
He's surprised because, God led me to do this thing, but also I thought that, you know what, it's kind of funny because sometimes when things go bad in your life, maybe you can turn them around and make a joke out of it, or make it something funny, or, maybe I can do something funny here where I'm going through a hard time, and it's, normally this would be the time where I wouldn't do this podcast, but I feel like maybe God's going to bless you all guys today.
There we go. I think so too. I think so too. So thank you for being a blessing. I know you're going to bless somebody here because you have a lot of life experience and wisdom that you've gained over the years, and I know you're still in your own journey too, and you're still learning a lot. But for crying out loud, you raised 4 boys on your own for a majority of your life. So let's start there. Like, what in the world is that like? What was the hardest thing as pretty much a single parent raising 4 boys? What was the biggest struggle that you have found in that experience?
The biggest struggle.
Talk up a little more.
I don't know. Actually, I was just saying to Luke earlier, I'm sorry, this might not answer your question exactly, but I was saying, well, I'm kind of by golly glad I didn't have any girls, because at least these boys step up to the plate and they help me out when I need it, and they come around and they do this and they do that and stuff. And the boys may be hard, in one way, like, because they do a bunch of crazy stuff. But girls are emotionally, what I've heard, I don't have any girls, but that there's emotionally a lot of entanglement, or it's a different type of hard, it's both.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, I'm used to boys, so yeah, cool. All right, I'll take the boys. But they step up. These boys step up and they help me out. So I'm sorry, your question, I kind of didn't. digressed from your question. I digressed. You said, what was the hardest thing about boys? Probably the fact that, they used to throw darts in my garage and they messed everything up, and they shot off H bombs or what do you call those things? Potato bombs and stuff like that. They used to shoot off potato bombs, and they used to do all kinds of mayhem
That's
in
not
my
the
garage.
half of the mayhem that we've done
No,
around.
it's not the half of it. They did. You can look at my garage right now. It looks like they're sealing
firework wars. We don't even have enough time on this podcast to go over all the things that we've done over the years.
They did a lot. They did a lot. But somehow
some,
I made it through.
Yeah.
And I have 4 wonderful sons. So.
Well, okay. So my first question was like, what was the hardest part of being a single parent, just raising kids? But my next question was, what is your greatest joy that you've gotten out of that?
Oh, just definitely. I wouldn't trade it for the world, man. I always wanted kids, but I was just like, even, to this day, I'm just like, I can't even say how thankful. I can't even say how thankful that God actually granted me. I'm sorry.
You're good. Sorry.
God actually granted me 4 wonderful sons. I got to tell you guys something. We didn't rehearse this. This is not rehearsed at all.
No,
we have
not.
no idea what anyone's saying, so I'm whatever he says is unrehearsed, but really it's the greatest joy of my life to have the blessing of 4 wonderful sons, you guys. So, and if I would have had a daughter, I'm sure I would have been happy too. I'm just saying what I was given, I couldn't even ask for more.
Yeah.
And I also say that I have 2 wonderful grandsons and a wonderful granddaughter as well. Just putting that in there.
Yeah. Not from me, but she has them.
Yeah, my other son.
Okay. Speaking of which, what is my problem here? Why don't you have grandkids through me? Why am I still single?
Now, what the heck you asking me for?
I'm asking you.
Really? Sorry.
Oh.
How would that be my problem?
I'm asking because you raised me and you've seen me a majority of my life. You've seen me in my relationships and you've seen my personality and character even when I was a punk, when I was a kid, and then even when I grew up and I matured more. I'm just saying, like, why do you think
I feel, honestly, you just haven't found the right woman yet. I mean, I want to say you've had a lot of wonderful women.
Yeah.
And every girlfriend I've ever met has been awesome.
Yeah.
Like, they just really all have. And I always hope that each one would be your wife. But for whatever reason, it wasn't meant to be or it didn't work out. That's okay. God had other plans for them and for you. And you still have a woman out there that's waiting, that God has for you, and there's no reason. I mean, you say you're too picky. Well, maybe, but that's how I am about cars, okay? Yeah. I'm too picky about cars. Like, I don't want just any old car, all right? I want a Mustang convertible or, a Mini Cooper convertible, or I want any kind of convertible, but I mean, forget about this stupid. So anyway.
Y'all heard that? Anybody out there with a convertible, hook my mom up.
All I'm saying is, though, we have, ideals, and you want a certain kind of girl, and I think everyone's been really wonderfully up to that point, but for whatever reason, it didn't work out, and that's between you and God. There's no fault here of anyone.
It is true. It's weird because I see a lot of times people on Facebook, they'll post all these memes like, if you could say one thing about your ex, what would it be? And then you all see people in the comments, they're always like slamming their ex, and they're always being, oh, they're this and they're scum and this. And I'm like, to me, that kind of breaks my heart because I'm like, well, for one, that's not a reflection of who they are. That's actually a reflection of who you are and the decisions that you made. But it's actually true what you said. I have been blessed. I've dated a lot of wonderful women in my life. I can't say anything bad about any of them. Like, they really are great. I don't know. I was a late bloomer for one. I did have a lot of growing up things that needed to be healed and things that I went through as a child that I probably wasn't even ready for marriage up until recently, anyways. But yeah, tell me what it's like being a grandmother though, like in the two boys.
Oh, well, I have two wonderful grandsons,
My brother's kids.
biologically grandsons, but I have a wonderful granddaughter as well, who I was really blessed with because, when my son married his wife, she had a daughter. So I have that wonderful granddaughter and the two grandsons, and they're just amazing. It's just so wonderful to go to the beach or to go to out, to dinner with them or do anything with them, and to see and say, wow, look at these little. It's hard to even describe being a grandparent. It's just,
Is it different having grandchildren versus your own children?
well, yes, because you don't have to change their diapers that much.
Whose diaper do you have to change the most out of all of us?
Oh, yours.
Why? Why? She's not kidding. Why?
Well, you had a problem.
What? Oh my gosh.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, no, I'm just saying that I don't mind changing diapers when I was doing that. I'm just kidding because that's just part of life.
Yeah.
You change diapers for a few years and then kids get potty trained. It's fine. I'm kidding.
Well,
But
so my thing is, so you're a mother and you raised 4 children and you did it a lot without help, and without getting into too many specifics. Like there was a lot of struggles here. Like I saw how stressful it was growing up. What kind of advice or hope can you give to parents out there who are struggling right now? They think some might be doing it alone or it might be very hard. Like what kind of encouragement can you give someone out there or advice can you give someone who's out there really struggling to raise kids right now?
well, I'll start by the scripture verse that I told my church today was Ecclesiastes. I mentioned about how two are stronger than one and a 3-cord strand can never be broken. And my point was that friends came alongside me. So even though I may have been a single parent, I really wasn't single so much because I was part of my church community or my friendship. Like people came and they helped me out with food, or they came alongside of me and they said, "Hey, do you need babysitters?" Or, I don't know. I really felt like I never really felt like God left me alone.
Amen.
Per se, because I had help from other people. And I feel even today that we can be help for others.
Yeah.
So if you know somebody that's maybe a single mom or something, and you can just go, "Hey, can I babysit for you?" Or "Can I just bring you some groceries today?" or whatever. That's really helpful. People did that for me. I remember one time I was driving up to my church and we were at the Gurney High School was our church at the time, and my van was breaking down, the whatever was breaking down in it. And this other family came up to me and they go, "Oh, you need a new car?" And they go, "Oh, we'll give you our station wagon." And they literally sold me for $1 their station wagon.
Yeah.
And so, then I got this station wagon for free, basically.
It wasn't a convertible for crying out loud, but it
No,
was a station wagon.
at that time I was okay with it because I could drop the back part open and it would still kind of be a little bit of a convertible. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding.
I remember that.
Really, community,
Yeah.
the church family, and people that reached out to me were very helpful because I couldn't have done it on my own, and I'm not going to pretend that I did.
I remember that station wagon. I do remember all that stuff, and I agree. Like it's a community, it's an effort. It takes a village to raise children, and I was actually just on talking with Pastor David earlier too, recording another episode, and I was talking about how big church community is. Like, get plugged into a church and get community in there. I used to be that person that would just come in the back row, sit in the back, and then just leave. But it's actually my church family in Madison is, because you guys are down here in Illinois. That is my family up in Wisconsin. Like, they're literally family to me. All my best friends are all my church coworkers. I mean, granted they're coworkers, so I see them a little more than your average, just group that you get together once or twice a week. So so I'm kind of forced in, it's not a forcing, but like I'm obligated to work with them, but it also gives me an opportunity to go to lunch with them and hang out with them and go to the movies, play pickleball with them, you know what I mean, and work with them. And it doesn't even seem like work because I love what I do. I love serving the Lord, and I only work part-time. It's not like I'm working there full-time, but church community is big. I agree. Community.
Well, and also I want to add to that, and I told these people at church today too, sometimes you can't get there or you can't get, well, maybe in the group necessarily, but that people are praying for you because they've said, oh, we're going to pray about your car, Nan, or we're going to pray about, this issue with your, whatever's going on. And then I remember one time going somewhere and knowing that people were praying for me before I went to this place and did this thing. It doesn't matter what it is, but, I won't go into the whole story. Anyway, I had such hope and courage because I'm like, oh, people are praying for me. Yeah. I'm going to be okay through this. I'm going to make it. Yeah. I'm going to make it through this, And so even if you're not in the room with them, but and you think prayer's not powerful, oh boy, prayer is so powerful. Yeah. It's like the electricity going through your from that light here to here. I can't see the electric current. I can't see it, but somehow that light's there. And so you can't see prayer per se, you know what I mean? But the power is there.
Yeah. Amen.
It's there.
It is.
So God is doing something through your prayers. You may think, oh, but he didn't answer them. Yeah, he did. He is. He's answering them. You might not see the answer exactly the way you're picturing it, but like I've been praying for my car and stuff. I don't know how it's exactly going to work out. But however it works out, I may get this car or that car, another car or no car or whatever. But the thing is, I know that God's answering prayers.
Amen.
And he's doing other stuff. He's doing stuff. I mean, it sounds kind of not very.
No, anyway. He's at work.
He's at work. So I want to encourage you in this to all of you that are watching today, that your prayers are very meaningful, and your fellowship with your friends, and even just calling someone and going, hey, I've been praying for you. Don't know how you're doing right now, but I've been praying for you. I've been thinking about you. I know Josh called our old neighbor the other day, right? Vivian, that used to live next door, and she's 91 now, and she's going through a lot of health concerns. And just the fact that he called her up and said, hey, let me pray for you. You know what? That meant the world to her. And I know that God heard those prayers.
Yeah.
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 So thank you for doing that.
Oh,
actually.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, prayer is big. Don't ever underestimate the power of prayer. Absolutely. Oh man, how do you even transition from that? That's good.
Well, you could tell a joke or something.
Tell a joke. I don't know. Okay. Why don't you tell them the story with the black cats out the window?
Oh dear, that's hard to tell.
Why?
Well, so to explain this, so Josh had a room on the first floor over here in my house, and he was writing late into the night. He was writing different lyrics for his songs and such, and he would stay up till 2-3 in the morning, and still probably does.
This was like 20-some years ago.
Yeah, 20-something years ago. And I was upstairs in my bedroom, and it was like right after the 4th of July, sometime around then when fireworks were prevalent. And I had bought these black cats. But I don't really know. I didn't know that much about...
You didn't buy them. We had them, and then you like found them or something. Okay. I don't know.
I didn't know that much about black cats as opposed to like the bottle rockets and the things that shoot up and stuff like that. So I was thinking that these black cats were like sparkler.
Well, okay, so I'm sitting in my room down here, and there's a porch out the window. Okay, right. All right, go ahead.
Yes, so he's in the room with the porch on the, and he's doing his writing. He's writing, and I see
a summer day,
and it's
summer
around
night.
the July, after the 4th, right around there. And so I see these black cats, and I go, I'm gonna play a trick on him. I am going to set off these black cats right by the window and scare
She thinks
the
she's a
heck out of them,
prankster.
right?
She thinks she's funny, right?
I think I'm funny, and I'm going to play this, So, but I thought that they were going to sparkle. So I put them by the room over there, and I'm standing on the deck, and I lit them off, and I didn't run. I just stood there watching
You lit them,
them.
and you're what? You're like,
I just sat there like, okay. And when they went off, of course, as you know, they went really loud, bang, 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 bang. And it basically shot my eardrums for a couple years. For a couple years, I don't even think to this day I can still hear right. It damaged my eardrums, especially the side that, I was more closer to that. And then I go, what? And I ran and I went up my stairs outside and I went up in my bathroom and I hid. And then he got onto it. And I guess he figured out that must be my mom or something like that. So he then comes up to well, then you can tell. But
I don't even remember. I knew it was, for some reason I knew it was you, but you told it. It was real funny how you told it, because they were like, just, you're sitting there, you lit the fuse, and you're just sitting there watching
like this, and then all of a sudden I'm like, boom, 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 and I went, what? Running. And to this day, I'm like, I will not light a black cat thing ever again. It was funny. I mean, now that you look back at it, it was funny, but at the time, yeah, the prank was on me because I didn't know it was going to be that loud. But growing up with 4 boys, I just have to say it was definitely a very there was a lot of action and there was no boring times. What else do you have to remember?
I mean, a lot, but I mean, nothing I should be glorifying or bringing up on here. I mean, that old life is...
Well, the good thing is, what I would say again is that despite all these crazy things, and I remember times where you and Mark, or I don't know if it was Matt and Mark, they got in a fight and you kicked holes in the door, and the door had holes in them, and then I remember one time I was in this woman's prayer group. And I went to this prayer group and I said, my son just kicked holes in the door and I don't know what to do and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, take the door off the hinges and tell him he don't have a bedroom door anymore. No more bedroom door for him because he's kicking holes in it. I go, really? And they go, yeah, we'll pray about it. And so they all prayed over me. And I had no courage whatsoever, nothing. But that night I went home and I go, okay, I'm taking these hinges off. And I took my screwdriver and I took the door off, and I took the door off and I said, no more door for you. You can't. It was Mark, or something with Mark.
It was
but
probably
anyway,
always me and Mark.
I think my point to you is that the people praying for me gave me the power, because they said, we're going to be praying for you. You can do this. You can do this. And I'm like, I don't think I can do this. Oh yeah, you can. So I went home and I took the door off the hinges. I literally took my screwdriver. Not that I'm not handy. I'm very handy, but I was afraid that I didn't have the courage to stand up to my 13-year-old son, or however old he was at the time. But I did. And I took the door off, and I don't remember exactly what happened after that, but the problem became it resolved itself because he saw that I meant business. So there's another thing. If you mean business, you do, what you feel called to do, right?
Or you stick to your guns,
taking the door off the hinges. I wasn't hurting anyone. I wasn't hitting anyone. I wasn't, I was just like, you can't have the privacy of your room anymore. There's no more door now. So, I'm sorry.
I'm listening. There's no more door now. What?
No, I got off the whole subject. I was trying to say, I guess, how prayer even then, I remember the women in that group encouraging me, and that's the only reason I could do that. Yeah. So I'm not saying you have to take doors off hinges. I'm just saying that you have to ask for prayer when you really feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I did.
What is your most memorable, precious moment in your whole life that you remember? just the most memorable thing like that I'll remember for life. Like that was awesome.
The first thing that came to mind when you said that was, my first son, Matt, when Matt was born, and then when my sons were born, like the birth of a child, like that was miraculous to me. I couldn't believe it. I mean, Matt was my first son. This is my second son, Josh, here. But every birth was also miraculous to me.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine anything. I remember looking and going, "What? This is a baby." I know babies are born every day, but I looked at this baby and I go, "What? This is a baby?" Like, it was such a blessing. Like, every baby I had was such a blessing. Really. I'm just, I can't think of anything really better, to be honest, than the birth of my sons.
Dang. That's the heart of a mother right there. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I'm being honest, though,
I know,
dude.
I know.
We didn't rehearse this.
I know.
I mean, what'd you think I would say when I got my first convertible and put the top down?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Some
I was driving
cruise
down
to
the street and
Bahamas or something. I don't know what the heck. I don't know.
My first trip to Jamaica. Yeah, that was nice, but...
What's your favorite music video of mine?
Well, right now...
Who the heck is calling you at this time of night?
I don't know. What are you worried about?
I heard something. No.
So,
Okay, what's your favorite music video of mine?
well, right now, I don't know. I have a lot of them, really, for different reasons.
All right, what are they?
But the reason is one of the most recent ones, because the lyrics and the way that the filming is very powerful, I guess. I mean, I told a couple friends of mine, you got to watch this video because there's something about it. There's something. The Spirit of God is really in that one. It's just moving. It's just like, you see the choir and you just see the. I don't know. It's really anointed. And the rest of them, they're all anointed, but in different ways. Like, because some of them are more production, oriented, where you got like the one with the swimming pool and everything, and they're all really good.
You mean the one where I dropped the set in the pool
or
whatever?
Yeah, to look like you're drowning in the bedroom, and no, they're all amazing. And quite honestly, I can't relate myself to saying, "Oh, this is my son who did these videos." I just look at him and I go, "Wow, somebody really awesome did these videos. That's really cool," like. And then people go, "Oh, that's your son's," I go, "Really? That's my son?" Oh, well, I had nothing to do with this, just so you know. I had nothing to do with that. Talent is from God, and all my son's talents are from God. Whoever, all of them, each son has their talents from God. It's not because I taught them this. Believe me, I didn't teach them anything. So,
well, you taught us a lot of life lessons. Stuff
yeah,
you did,
but I do admit that in life, I think that, we pray for our kids and we want, the best for what God has for their lives. And then God can take it from there. And if I sit there and I have a plan and I go, well, I want Matt to do this, or I want Josh to do this, or I want Mark to do that, or I see Luke doing this, that doesn't work. But if you just pray, okay, Lord, whatever you have for their life, that's going to be way more powerful, and it's going to be a lasting, thing that, because I mean, he was doing videos in his room since he was 15 or something like that.
We're doing right here in the living room, SNL skits.
Yeah, in the bedroom and everything. And I thought it was always cool. I always thought it was really cool. My mom would, help out with her video camera and stuff. I always thought it was really cool. But, did I see where he would be today? I don't want to say no, because that would be like did I not have faith to see? I don't want to say no, but I didn't see the bigness of it. I didn't see the whole picture. And I still don't think we see the whole picture because I still think there's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
With what you're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot more I want to do. There is. I mean, my first love was filmmaking. Like, we were making movies and skits in here and stuff. And I've been doing a lot of music and music videos lately, but I'm excited to get into filmmaking. I feel like the Lord's been really opening that love and passion for the filmmaking in the last couple of years here. And I think in the next few years, I must really go down that avenue and explore that. So I'm excited for that.
You guys have way more gifts than I ever could even imagine that I've never had. I'm like, well, you didn't get it from me. You got it from God because
okay,
I don't have
what was
it.
the most boneheaded thing I ever did? You roll your eyes like that.
You want to narrow this down to one?
Well, give me top three. Go ahead. Give me top.
You want to narrow it down to three?
Good. All right, top three.
I can't.
What?
You got me on the spot.
Top three. Top three most boneheaded, knuckleheaded thing I've ever done. Come on now.
I don't know. You stole my car that time and you drove away with Jesus.
I didn't. Come on.
Well,
I mean, we did take it without asking, but
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't like.
Oh
steal.
yeah. You took it without asking, and then I called the sheriff, and then
Yeah,
it was
because
Christmas
what's his name
time.
made you call.
Yeah.
That's why. It was New Year's Eve. I
Somebody-
just got my permit in December. My birthday's in December. I got my permit. And I said at like 2, 3 in the morning, I was like, hey, let's go to Paragon. Let's go get something to eat, some breakfast food. We went to go eat, and then we came back, and there you are sitting in the driveway with what's his name in the van or whatever, and whatever his big-headed, hot-headed idea was to call the police to teach us a lesson. And then so me and Jesus come in here, we go to sleep, and then like 20 minutes later we hear on the door, boom, 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 like banging on the door, and then you got the police coming up in there.
It
and they're
was
trying to like rough
Lake
us
County
up,
Sheriff.
trying to like rough us up and stuff, like trying to scare us. Like,
He was actually pretty nice. He goes, you see your mom has a Christmas tree here? She's trying to provide for you. And what are you doing? You're taking her car. And it scared you, though.
the sad thing is, you probably don't even know half the knuckleheaded things that we done.
No, I don't.
Nah, you don't need to.
No,
but-
I don't. Half the time you guys did stuff, I didn't even know about it. Oh, so my neighbors next door, these cute little old people, right? They'd call me up and they go, we don't really want to tell about your kids, but they had this big party yesterday and there's all these people
Wait,
over.
so they snitched on us?
Don and Vivian, every once in a while, Don would go, we really don't want to tell you, but there's all these people over and then they did this and this and we really wouldn't tell you, but except for this got ruined or that got busted or something like that. And then I
What'd they do? Call you at work or call you here?
No, they just told me when I saw them the next day.
Oh my
They didn't
gosh.
call me at work. You know
They
what?
snitched on us. You know what? That's okay though, because Don and Vivian were the sweet. I actually had this conversation with her on the phone the other night. She was, she's heard about all the stuff that we've been doing, and she thinks that like I'm out there doing a great job and being successful and all that in my faith. And she kind of made it sound like she was kind of, I didn't have any big dreams or aspirations, or I didn't do anything big in my life like that or whatever. And I'm like, actually you did, like you served your neighbors, you loved your neighbors well, like you lived a very
She did.
gracious, and because they were the sweetest neighbors you guys can ever have.
Yeah.
Like she's talking about community, not just her church community, but even our neighbors. I stepped up to the plate so many times to help a single mom with these punks.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we were punks at times, like, and they were just the sweetest thing, the most loving. And I'm like, Vivian, you literally loved your neighbors. You served God by serving others. You guys served us so many times.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times, like, from cutting our grass to lending us tools to helping us out with this when we needed something or this or that. Like they were just great neighbors. And I'm like, Vivian, you really lived a life serving other people, loving your neighbors.
And it's good you told her that too, because she's, nearing the end of her own life and needs to hear
Yeah.
that she made an impact, which she definitely did. She
did.
definitely did. And her husband was gracious and helped me with so many things over the years too. He would crawl under the,
Crawl space.
crawl space with a torch, blowtorch, and heat my pipes up when they were frozen.
Yeah.
With wearing a suit, So being a good neighbor, and I feel I'm not a good neighbor. I don't really reach out to my neighbors that much, so that's really a big blessing. But
How do you think somebody could reach, speaking of the end stages of life, how can you get to the end stages of life and look back and be like, okay, I lived a very purposeful life? It's not about having a successful life in the worldly sense, but like a life that was honoring to God, or just very fulfilling, where somebody could look back. And I think everybody will have some sort of regret in one sense or another, small regrets or something here or there. But like, how can somebody live a life where they look back and they're like, man, that was actually a pretty good, purposeful life?
Well, that I have my own regrets to that myself, because I feel like there's been a lot of opportunities I may have missed. I think just living, even just now, even just this week, I've been going through these problems with a car thing. I'm not even going to go into it, but, or I go to work and it's really stressful at work because there's issues going on there and change of management and stuff like that. And I go to work and I said to one of my friends the other day, I go, I don't look any different than a non-believer. Like, in fact, I probably look worse. I'm complaining. I'm like nervous. I'm upset. I can't deal with this, this thing with the car. I don't know. Like, a person knowing the Lord should have a different attitude, right? Of hope and faith. So my prayer was just not that necessarily that my car be fixed, or not necessarily that my job change or anything financial go right, but that my heart would change and I would not be that complaining person, but I would be able to look like Jesus, like a follower of Jesus, and be able to be like, yeah, I know my life's hard right now. I got this and this going on, but you know what? God's got this. It's going to be okay. I think I may have said that at the very beginning of this, but I'm just reiterating that that's my biggest regret, is that I really I don't feel like a lot of people would go, oh yeah, Nan, she always, talked about Jesus in her daily walk and she did this. No, I really have been a very bad example of a follower. I really have. But if I sit here and beat myself up about it, that's not going to help either. So I guess, going forward, I just have to pray that in the future I would be more of a shining light, and I would be more able to go, hey, I'm following the Lord, who is the maker of all things. I don't have to worry about these things, because even if he takes everything away from me, my house, my car, my money, whatever, he's still God. He's still my Lord. It's hard. Like the book of Job, it's hard. Like you said the other day when I asked you, why do bad things happen to good people? And I'm not saying bad things are happening. My things are relatively not that bad compared to most. But I'm not saying I'm a good person either. But some of my friends who are really good people and really bad things happen to them. Why? Well, you gave me a lot of answers from that gotquestions.org. But you know what? We're not God. How do we have the right to even ask? But but I want to add this. We don't have to ask why, but we have to know. This is the most important thing. I think you told me, or Wanda, or somebody told me, but you might not be able to ask why, but God is walking with you through those hard times. He's walking with you like the footsteps, saying he's carrying you through those hard times. So you can go, well, why? Why is this happening to me? But all right, why? We don't know why, but God's like, but I'm here with you and I'm carrying you and I care about you through this.
Yeah. You said that you kind of have some regrets because you may not have been the best witness in your life, and that's okay. We've all failed at times. Even myself, there's plenty of times where I feel like the Holy Spirit may have been leading me to do something, and we fail. We all do. So there's grace in that, so that's okay. But let's say some of your friends are watching right now, and you can do this because they're not here in person. But let's say some of your friends, this gets shared and they see it and they're watching right now because they're interested in what you have to say today and all that. If you can tell them something that you have never told them before about the Lord, what would you tell them? Like that you can say now that you maybe wouldn't have said to them in person.
I would just have said that I really love you, my friend, and I want to see you in eternity in heaven with all of us, with Jesus and with God and with my family and whoever else is going to be there. And guess what? You can be there too. You just have to trust. You just have to believe that you're a sinner and that you're not going to go to heaven other than by the blood of Christ. So just accept the fact that Jesus died for those sins, and you will, and he will take your sin upon himself, and then you will be with us in heaven. So it's nothing you can do. It's not going to church. It's not saying Hail Marys. It's not saying Our Fathers. Or don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to pick on prayers or anything, pick on specific prayers. It's just not anything we do ourselves, right? So by asking Jesus to be your Savior, that's what I want for you, because I want to be with you in eternity.
Yeah. If there's any other closing piece of advice or encouragement that you can give anybody out there, whether it's regarding the faith, whether it's regarding motherhood or just life in general, or so people don't maybe make a mistake that you may have regretted, or so somebody can avoid a mistake, whether you made it or not, or just something that you have learned, a valuable life lesson that you have learned that you can share with somebody that they can take with them. What would you say?
Well, this isn't really a life lesson so much as maybe a biblical lesson that I read today when I was at my church and we were worshiping, and something came in my mind and it said, this one thing. And I said, what one thing? What one thing? And this one thing. So then I got out my Bible and I looked at the concordance because I don't know all the verses. And I looked up one and I found a bunch of different things that one was in. But this one thing was, and now I can't even remember it exactly, golly, the exact verse, but it's where, Mary and Martha are with Jesus, and Martha is trying to fix all the food and everything, and Mary's just worshiping at his feet. And then Jesus says, this one thing is more, like, basically this one thing is more important than anything else. She's worshiping at the feet of Jesus. Never mind the fixing this and fixing that and doing the other things. This one thing is the most important. And that's what Jesus said to Mary. So you can look it up. I wish I could quote you the verse exactly right now, but I can look it up. But that would be, for today, what my takeaway was that God was saying to me, you know what? All that other stuff is going to go to the side. How you do the dishes and how you do your parenting. But this one thing is to worship at the feet of Jesus. That's it.
Well, that's good. That is, in the grand scheme of things, that is the most important thing. Like you were talking about Ecclesiastes earlier. I mean, at the end of the day, all these things in this world, chasing after all these things, are nothing but a chasing after the wind. They're futile. In the grand scheme of things, they're all going to pass away. So if we're living for now in this moment without a worry about eternity, then we're doing it backwards. We should first seek the kingdom of God, and then all these things will be added unto us. So,
and so those two verses today are what came to me. The Ecclesiastes about, friends, the two shall be, three-cord strand will never be broken. That friends, the importance of fellowship, and then the importance of worshiping at Jesus' feet. And if there was a third thing that I could mention before we close, it would be the power of prayer. And again, if you want to look at something really powerful, I'm just gonna promote somebody I really love who is Times Square Church in New York. And if you look up Tim Delana and his whole thing on prayer, and he has this whole big thing on the power of prayer. It's every week he was talking about it for some weeks in the recent past. Just go Times Square Church in the prayer thing, and he talks about how God answers prayer. And so I think, worshiping at Jesus' feet, the power of prayer, and the fellowship with the friends of two and more than two. Those are my top three.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Mom. Appreciate it. And if y'all would like to see some more from my mom, she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. She did her absolute
Peace,
best.
I'm a hippie.
There you go. She did her absolute best. And, I truly look back on things and I realize how when I was a kid, I had so much anxiety because I was looking to the future and I was so worried about all the things in the future and the money and the fame and the futile things that I were chasing. And I realized I had it all right here all along. I had a great family, and we really do. We're blessed with a great family, and I think that's one of our biggest blessings in life. So thank you for being a wonderful mother, answering my calls at 1 a.m. and talking to me for hours, sometimes when it's 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And
hey, that's when I'm up.
Doing your absolute best. I mean, you did your absolute best, and I thank you for that. And thanks for joining and saying yes. Proud that you jumped on and you had the guts to finally jump on and do it. And I know
this is unrehearsed. This is raw, boys. Girls,
there it is,
boys and girls.
I know. I'm sure they'll love you. They love you on my Snapchat.
Not rehearsed.
They all see you goofing around on Snapchat. So she's quite a character. Make sure y'all check her out.
I'm quite a character.
Have some more stuff with her coming up. Who knows? We'll see. But
the next thing will be a Lucille Ball juggling act. Okay.
There you go. We might have to bust that out. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I love you. Jesus loves you. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.